Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. We got a emergency wrestling podcast because there was some news that happened yesterday that's been building that has shocked the wrestling world. And we have my wrestling expert, our Mr. Consistent, Jacob Mason. How you doing today, sir?
I am shook today, sir. I am absolutely shook.
Man, let's just get right into it, man. We were just hanging out. Everyone was doing their own things. It was a nice Saturday. And then the news from out of nowhere. WWE comes to terms with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt gets released from WWE yesterday on a Saturday, where most of their cuts are typically on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we didn't see this coming. I know you've talked about a couple podcasts back when they were having mass cuts to just let him go so he wouldn't have to suffer. But Jacob, what the hell just happened, man?
Well, pretty much you nailed it on the head. Bray Wyatt's now gone. They have come to terms. If I come to terms, I mean, WWE has said, I'm sick of your ass. See ya. Goodbye. Best of luck to you. Here's a 90-day no-compete clause, and you're free on Halloween. Which actually is kind of appropriate, it feels like. Like, if your last day is going to be on Halloween, someone's going to do, like, some sort of cool pay-per-view or something. I think it's going on a Saturday, too.
Yeah, because October 30th is a Saturday, and I know that because that is actually my birthday. And October 31st, Halloween, is a Sunday, so that'd be perfect. I mean, someone make it happen. But Jacob, man, just on July 29th, you sent us a new update on Bray, how he is looking in a lot better shape. I just saw today that he was actually medically cleared to come back to WWE yesterday before they released him. And man, you are the biggest Bray Wyatt mark I know. There are times when we're talking about there's a slow wrestling day. We were going to do the rise and the fall of Bray Wyatt, and we reached the climax right here, man. Like, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm fine. I was kind of me and my wife, we were talking about it because she was like, "Hey, check your phone right now." My phone was in the other room. I said, "Well, no, just show me." She's like, "WWE released Bray Wyatt." I was like, "What? No." So like I ran in, got my phone, and she's like, "It's confirmed on WWE.com." Like, oh shit, gotta send it to the group. Let's send it to the little group chat we have there. And honestly, like, so let's be real. WWE has absolutely failed Bray Wyatt. As a wrestler, as everything, they have absolutely failed him. So, was I glad to see him go? Yes, I said it months ago. Like, just release Bray Wyatt. Screw this stuff. Let the guy go. If you're going to use him like trash, let him go. Mm-hmm. But me being a salty bitch, I was a little upset. I was like, man, screw you, WWE, for letting go of Bray Wyatt. Like, I want Bray Wyatt to like break up with WWE, not WWE break up with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
So like, I was a little salty about that, but at the same time, like a lot of people, were like really upset about it, which kind of made me go, wait a second, where was all this support when Bray Wyatt was getting shit on for years? Like, everyone out of the blue is like, oh man, Bray Wyatt, no. And I'm like, where were you? You weren't part of the cult. What was it? The Fiend got named like worst wrestler or worst. What was it? The worst wrestler, worst character, or what?
Worst wrestling like gimmick, yeah, by one of those pro wrestling magazines. Not saying it was PWI, but it was a a wrestling magazine.
Yeah, screw that. Get out of here with that trash. That I mean, it was cool to see. Like, it was nice to see everybody come out and supporting Bray Wyatt, which I think is us as a wrestling internet community. Is this very dysfunctional family. Mm-hmm. But when we see someone get really wrong, at least we all pretty much come together and go, well, that's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I guess tidbits like the stuff we were going to talk about, Rise and Fall and Bray Wyatt. I just think it's crazy because obviously you're a bigger Bray Wyatt fan than I am, but there are matches to me and timing that just gave this dude no chance to like really be what he was going to be. The first one, I'm going to just go through them if you don't mind. First one was WrestleMania 30 as, what was Hulk Hogan calling it? The Silver Dome, when it was supposed to be the Superdome, whatever. And yeah, in New Orleans, where he was having his match against John Cena, and they were building about like Cena protecting his legacy, which, I mean, everyone knows I'm a Cena guy, but it made no sense because he just beat The Rock last year for the title, so I'm pretty sure his legacy was secured. Even I was saying Bray Wyatt should have won that match, and he did not. He lost clean. They had the whole Cena, this isn't you, when he was going to hit him with a chair. And I was like, I've literally seen Cena throw humans into like the lakes and put people, like, if he would have hit him with a chair, would have been okay. But then they also had their trilogy. Then the second match, Bray Wyatt won the steel cage match. If people remember that, they had all the people surrounding, and that kid was singing Bray's song, which again, also to Bray, when his Follow the Buzzards, everyone put their phones up. Everyone was singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hand. And then they had their climax at WWE Payback that year, 2014. And if people who don't know, that match was actually voted Match of the Year by PWI. But that first one messed it up. Then we go to WrestleMania 31, and they have Bray Wyatt against The Undertaker. Bray Wyatt, they shouldn't have had him against The Undertaker, for the fact being that shouldn't have been Undertaker's first WrestleMania match after losing the streak last year. Because then we all know they are not about to let this dude lose 2 years in a row after him almost going 20 plus years winning. And they should have had that match at like a SummerSlam, because now you already have Bray Wyatt 0-2 at WrestleMania. Bad start. And then fast forward a couple years, when Cena won 16th from AJ, they had the Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton won that Royal Rumble. Randy Orton was part of the Wyatt family, which was actually entertaining. Bray Wyatt pinned John Cena and then AJ Styles to be WWE champion for the first time. I know you were super excited. We were like, holy shit, this is the time. This is it. And if people remember, Elimination Chamber was just like a couple weeks, maybe a month before WrestleMania. And then we all knew the turn from Randy Orton was coming. It happened. So Randy versus Bray, WrestleMania, great. We thought Randy was going to do the job, put him over. They have that super weird match where like the ring looks like bugs, and it was freaking creepy. WrestleMania 34. It was.
Wasn't it the House of Horrors? Was that the House of Horrors?
Yes, House of Horrors. It was weird as hell. And even though the feud was like, it was doing good because Randy was full in the Wyatt family. He burned down the house. That was great. But then Randy Orton beats him for the title, and we're like, what? We're like, okay, Bray Wyatt's done. Fast forward, we get The Fiend. The Fiend comes. His first match as The Fiend was against Finn Balor. We were all like, what the hell is this? This is some scary demon shit. All right, Bray's back. And they were treating him like a special character. We thought it was going to be like how Finn Balor has Finn and then the demon. We had regular Bray, and then we had the Fiend Bray. Whatever. He's undefeated, building, and then he wrestles Seth Rollins. If I remember, this was at Hell in a Cell. Yep. And we all were like, all right. And Seth was a huge babyface at that time. That's when he just got the belt from Lesnar. So we had a full-time champ who just beat Lesnar. We were like, all right, Seth's going to do the job. And they had one of the worst finishes of all time that it completely turned everyone on Seth Rollins. And everyone's like, what the hell are you doing with the Fiend? Why did Seth Rollins get curb stomping and whatever it ended and Seth keeping the belt? And we were just like, well, you just killed Seth and you just killed the Fiend. This was supposed to be his crowning moment. Next time, the Fiend gets the title. Whatever. We're just like, eh. And then we're getting closer to the two nails on the coffin. Fiend is the champion. And we have Bill Goldberg. This was in Saudi Arabia. He was fighting for the Universal title. And everyone, I mean, we know what we're like, okay, well, Fiend's going to beat Goldberg. That's going to be a good notch in his belt. Spear, jackhammer, Fiend loses the title again. We're like, what the hell are we supposed to care about this guy about? You made him so supernatural, but he's losing all the time when we want him to win. Just recently, before we get to this WrestleMania, when Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and Braun Strowman were feuding for the title, we're like, all right, Fiend needs to win this. You never see it coming. Roman Reigns comes, spears them both. Next month, takes the title from them. They're never seen from again. And then you have the Fiend versus John Cena Firefly Funhouse. That was a very good match, very entertaining, different. We're like back on track. And then we have this WrestleMania. Fiend versus Randy Orton. Again, we thought that the Fiend was having his revenge tour on his in his Firefly Funhouse, and that was great. And he was crossing everyone off who's wronged him. Like 35, he beat Cena after Cena beat him at 30. Randy beat him at 34. We're like, oh, he's definitely going to beat him at 36. First match, night 2. They go in. Alexa Bliss comes in her new demon stuff. We're all like, what the hell is this? Fiend gets RKO'd one time, and he loses. And that turns the whole crowd the whole night. And we have not seen him since. We did see reports that he needs some time away because he was still dealing with the passing of Brody Lee. And here we are. And Jacob, tell me if I missed any key moments from the WrestleMania 30 to now of the rise and fall of Bray.
No. The only other thing you could possibly say, but it's before WrestleMania 30, was Bray was part of the original Nexus. It's Husky Harris.
Has Husky Harris, and Randy Orton punt kicked him. He came back as Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, that's right. Good on you, man. He was Husky Harris, and
yeah, the worst trademark of all time. Like a tank with a Ferrari engine, which I guess that was back from his high school like football days or something. I guess his coach said that, but it's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, because anyone who knows anything about engines know like a Ferrari engine couldn't move a tank. So, whatever. But yeah, other than that, yeah, you pretty much just did his entire career pretty much. And yeah, this guy got beat down multiple times and came back every time with a new gimmick that was over and people liked, and WWE just constantly shit on him, which, god damn it. I mean, I don't know how many times I have texted you in the past, I don't know, 10 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know how many times I've texted you and be like, well, how are we supposed to have faith in this guy if he constantly keeps losing? Every big match he has, he constantly lost, minus the Elimination Chamber.
And it's crazy, too, because you said that, because, like, the casual fans, when you try to explain Bray Wyatt when he was early, they're like, is he supposed to be the next Undertaker? And it's like, I mean, supernatural, whatever. But then they're like, how can he be Undertaker if he keeps losing? And we're like, oh, well, oh, shit. That is a good point. And, that was just like, oh, well, that's a very good point. I don't know. I can't answer that for you, man. I really can't. But, dude, I just think it's sad. And I saw the tweets, Mick Foley talking about, like, they just lost a creative mind, things like that. I think one of the tweets that really got me was my girl, Mickie James. That one
was trending.
Yes, she was. Because, I'll read you guys the tweet after they come to terms with Bray Wyatt. I think what you meant to say was, thank you so much for coming up with such an incredible gimmick time and time again. One, so cool and over, we really didn't know how to book it right, so we just gave it to someone else so we could still make all the money off of it and let you go. And for people not connecting the dots, obviously, if you're watching Raw, I know some people aren't because it's kind of poo right now, but Cena's trying to save everything because, But Alexa Bliss is currently the new Bray, where she has the Firefly whatever house, and she has Lily, her doll, when Bray had those other dolls, and they basically just gave his gimmick to her. And when Mickie James said that, I said, holy shit, she's telling the truth. That's real. What did you think when you saw Mickey's stuff?
Oh, I thought it was great. I think Mickie just needs to be like the official like leader of the let go WWE employees because Mickie doesn't give a shit anymore. And she's not worried about coming back to the company. And she's calling everything as it really is, and they can't do anything about it.
I think she would have been fine until they did the trash bags. That's what set her over.
Yeah, yep. The trash bag did it. Like, yeah, that was. I mean, she's completely right. They're still going to use this gimmick with Alexa Bliss, which is, I'm sorry. I like Alexa Bliss. This gimmick. Maybe it's just because of the writers. I mean, Alexa Bliss can do anything, but honestly, at this point, I'd rather just see her go back to like her Harley Quinn-esque.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss, but because I think it's going to be hard because she had a really big, like, heartfelt, post about Bray Wyatt, and I think that would be really hard to go in on there on Monday and do this gimmick like nothing happened.
I'm actually surprised she didn't say anything back to Mickie James because, I mean, that second half was directed at her. I felt like.
Well, to be fair, Mickie James did send out another tweet that said, like, this isn't towards Alexa Bliss. She's a phenomenal wrestler, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of people were like, how dare you, say this about Alexa Bliss? And she's like, well, hold up here. This isn't how this is. This is what this was meant to. Was to WWE and all their bullshit. So, I don't know. That'd be hard to be Alexa Bliss right now. I mean, I'd be torn. I'd be really torn.
I mean, she's gone through it. I mean, they're now with this Bray stuff, obviously, with her ex-fiance who used to be there, Buddy Murphy. Like, she's gone through the things, and it's weird too because if we didn't know who she was and you just took her name off of that gimmick, she's been losing too. She hasn't really done anything special with the gimmick. She's won no titles. She hasn't dominated the women's division. Like, you should be out there. You have superpowers. You should be the only one out there beating up Charlotte Flair because that's all. That's what you need to beat her, some superpowers. So, so it's like, I don't want them. They're making the same mistake with her too. Like, after WrestleMania, seeing the debut of her, even though Bray lost, that was shocking. But then since then, it's been crap. And then this Bray Wyatt thing, we had Braun Strowman saying, "Come join me" or whatever, but to us, that made no sense because there were reports saying that he was coming back to WWE, like they had his gear.
Right? Yeah, I sent the screenshot of like they had clothes. So unless that was the world's best Photoshop that I have ever seen, or that was a complete screw up by WWE, I really think the latter. I don't know what the hell is going on there, but. To think back to just the Wyatt family, let's just talk about the Wyatt family for a second.
They're all gone.
Huh?
They're all gone.
Yeah. I would have never guessed. The entire Wyatt family is gone from WWE. They do not exist. They were never a thing. These are not the cult followers you're looking for. So I would have never guessed that. Like, because when they came out, boy, that gimmick was over.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I mean,
I think I still have on like my old iPod. Like I ripped off some of the promos and stuff that they had building Bray Wyatt. Like he was because they built it for like, oh god, it took forever for him to finally debut. They just kept showing the vignettes, and the vignettes, and the vignettes.
Follow the buzzards.
He followed them. And then he came out and he took out R-Truth. Then he came out and he took out Kane. It's like
I remember when it was. I was like, all right, these are going to be the two biggest groups going forward post Cena Orton time. It was the Shield versus the Wyatt family. I was like, oh, we're literally seeing the future right here. And 2 out of the 3 Shield members are still there. The whole Wyatt family's gone. Like, that's unbelievable, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would have never guessed it. Because you had workhorses. Every one of them, if you really think about it, the Wyatt family was this absolute island of misfit toys of a group. Because every single one got screwed over by
Mhm.
WWE. Everyone. Now think, all right, so let's just take Braun Strowman, who started out as a rosebud for Adam Rose.
Mhm.
For anyone who remembers his 2-month spree on Raw or however long that lasted. And then he came out as this like sheep face mask wearing just giant man who just did not know what the hell he was doing, and then became the Braun Strowman we know, which is just a big dude who can move really well for a big dude. He and he killed it. He killed the game. And you know what? Let him go. Yep. Then you have, let's just take Brody or Eric Rowan and Brody Lee. They were the tag team of the group, and they were great. They were awesome. I mean, even when they ended up splitting up and everyone kind of went, remember when they turned Rowan face?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they thought, like, I remember freaking, Michael Cole, Jesus. Or Michael Cole going like, oh, he's a genius. He's a sommelier. He's a this, he's a that. And like, he's so smart. And I'm like, this is freaking dumb. And then they had, I think it was the Survivor Series match. They had like, Eric Rowan on one side, Brody Lee on the other.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one where Sting made his WWE debut. Shit, I remember where Eric Rowan was. I mean, for the old wrestling fans, he was Daniel Bryan's heater when he was part of when Daniel Bryan was the Planet Champion.
Yep.
So,
wasn't he one of the even before the Wyatt family? He was in WWE, wasn't he? Wasn't he a Highlander?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But yeah, but then they come back as the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yep, they did. That was strange. And also with Luke Harper, too. Like, individual talent, they really just fumbled. They fumbled that opportunity because that dude, he could move. He was polished. I remember when he was having Intercontinental Championships against Dolph Ziggler. Like, they just wasted Luke.
I remember when he murdered Dean Ambrose at the WrestleMania in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania play button, whatever that was.
WrestleMania San Francisco's 31 because that's the Rollins cash-in. Yep.
Yes. All right. So I remember they had that big Intercontinental ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they did it at WrestleMania.
That's what they do at WrestleManias.
But I remember, Brady Lee, Luke Harper. I just remember like he shot Dean Ambrose over the top ropes into a ladder, and I thought Dean Ambrose died. That's still one of the nastiest bumps I've ever watched that man take. But literally, all these guys, I mean, through and through, they all got beat down. They all came back better. They all got shit on. They all came back better. They never stopped. And the fact WWE has none of them is amazing. I mean, even Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt, who's the king of coming back and being better than ever, why wouldn't you keep him as a writer? Why wouldn't you be like, hey, man, I understand, like, hey, you don't want to be out there right now. Would you want to come back and, do some creative writing stuff? Because Bray Wyatt can certainly do that. I don't get it. I mean, good for Bray, because, man, let's talk about the possibilities of Bray going forward. I think it's endless. So first off, where do you think Bray Wyatt ends up?
To go, I think he's gonna. The cop out would be AEW, but the reason I'm also gonna say that is because just a couple days ago, when Vince was on his conference call, he's like, I don't consider AEW competition in the way that I would consider WCW back in the day. Not anywhere near close to that. And then he also gave a weird line. He's like, oh, they're taking some of our talent. Maybe they could take some more. I was like, what the hell do you mean? And then Bray Wyatt gets released. So I think he's going there. I mean, I know you've talked about the possibility of him being the new leader of the Dark Order, which that'd be super poetic.
That'd be insanely fun. Dude, the possibilities are endless for dream matches I want to see Bray Wyatt do. I mean, for one, I really wish Lucha Underground was still around. Because I think Bray Wyatt would have flourished in that type of setting, minus the shitty contracts. If you take that factor out of it, I think he would have. absolutely killed it in Lucha Underground.
But do you think he'll wrestle? I mean, I think he'll wrestle, but you brought up the good point. He could become like the top writer in the wrestling world. Like maybe he goes that avenue instead.
Whatever he wants to do. I mean, literally the world, he's got the whole world in his hands right now when it comes October. On Halloween, he has got the entire world in his hands, and he's going to do some cool shit. Guaranteed. Whether backstage, on stage, Bray Wyatt, that guy's got the whole world in his hand. One of the big feuds my wife actually said it, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, this is genius. Would be, I would love to see Bray Wyatt go to Ring of Honor and face off with Vincent right now in his like crazy cult. Oh my God. Those two cutting promos on each other. Oh, it'd be magical.
That would be good. That's a good one.
Or does he go to New Japan? Does he be the big, bad guy Gene or whatnot, going over there and just taking people out? Just show up, Sister Abigail somebody, and just walk away. Like, who cares? Just start terrorizing people.
That's true too. I mean, now I was just thinking of his family, like, because he's gone, the Rotunda boys, Bo's gone, if I remember correctly. JoJo was, because if people know, JoJo is Bray's wife now. They have kids. Shoot. The only one left of the family is Liv Morgan, because she's with Bo Dallas.
Is JoJo still not? Did she get let go?
She hasn't been on WWE in ages.
I thought that was because she was like dealing with her pregnancy stuff.
Well, they did. I do remember the Raw where all the news came out of Bray and his first wife, like, because him and that scandal. I know they kept both of them off Raw that day, and I was having a field day with that, because then I was like, well, we all see why you follow JoJo too, man. But with Bray too, Chelsea Green had a tweet talking about like Bray, come here or whatever, and people really got on her. And I mean, I really didn't. I know you didn't see the big deal. I was just reading the comments, like, I guess, but it's not that big a deal to me. But more on Chelsea. Chelsea Green is always in Twitter stuff, man. Like, all the time. Like, we just talked about her a couple of months of, like, the women can do both. And, like, how does she always get into stuff?
I don't know. I don't get it, because I didn't think she's posting anything controversial.
No.
I mean, Mickie James over here spitting straight fire. And Chelsea Green's over here like, hey, come join the dark side. Like, what's the big deal with that? Who gives a shit?
People were like, oh, she's posting that. Be sensitive. He just lost his job and you're telling him to come here. Let him grieve. And you're just clout chasing because you want him to boost your career. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I don't know. I don't get it. That's why I'm not on Twitter, buddy.
But that's where some of the best wrestling drama is at.
Listen, if I need anything on Twitter, I know I'm going to hear it from you or Byron. And I'm going to have to click on the link to see another link. I'll end up seeing it. One way or the other, I'll see it. I'm just never on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in years.
Yeah, so with Bray, man, I know we just went 30 minutes in on Bray. We really hope I know WWE says it, but they don't really mean it. We do legit wish him the best in his future endeavors. Can't wait to see where he pops up, and hopefully he doesn't get screwed. Hopefully it's not one of these bait and switches. I was just thinking about that as I said that, like what they did with Samoa Joe, where Samoa Joe was released, but then he was back. Like, I didn't think about that, because, like, if he comes back, when Braun said, oh, come follow me, but I was like, bro, your t-shirts just went back on sale, and we're seeing reports you're trying to go back. But, Jacob, just some quick things. We talked about this a little bit in our little group message, how July 28th, Renee Young said that AEW doesn't treat their fans as stupid as WWE does. And I know we have talked about that a lot when we talk about storyline booking. Like, it makes no sense for this person to be fighting this person, but then last week they were best friends and now they're not best friends, and they just ruin kayfabe because we see them posting pictures at the pool together. Like, I think she has a point. I don't think AEW tries to treat us like we're idiots and like we don't watch wrestling and remember all the storylines.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we complain about it constantly. Where WWE treats us like we don't, this is not the storyline you remember.
Mhm.
I mean, she's 100% right. AEW is literally going to, oh, well, this is what people are complaining about WWE. Let's change it. Let's do
Yep.
this, and this. Oh, what's one of the top complaints? Oh, they literally do the dumbest shit because they treat their customers essentially, which is what we are.
That is
Like
true.
a bunch of idiots. So, hey, that's fine. I mean, right. She's 100% right. I don't know what else to say about it.
No, I agree. Next, just a little quick stuff. AEW Wrestling Rampage is in the United Center. For anyone who knows wrestling, they know the United Center is one of the holy grails of arenas for wrestling in Chicago, Illinois. Friday, August 20th, the day before SummerSlam. I think that week is going to probably be the biggest week in wrestling this year. Because if the rumors are true, that crowd from however many hours is going to be chanting CM Punk. And Jacob, he has to come because, God, if he doesn't, AEW is going to be over because you ain't going to get that Chicago crowd back.
Oh, man. So they even had to open up more seating at the United Center.
Mm-hmm.
They had to open up a whole new entire tier of seating. And guess what? It sold out in no time because of bots. Still pissed off about that. But yeah, so CM Punk, if you're going to make an entrance, do it in your hometown. Do it where the people love you. And that alone right there will be bigger than SummerSlam. It'll be bigger than any moment in SummerSlam.
I wonder when they do it. I wonder if they'll do it to start the show or to end it. I don't know if you could do it to end it because then the crowd's going to get a little anxious that he really might not show and start turning.
No, if anything, I'd save it right for the end.
Right for the end?
Just right at the end. Because if you save it right at the end, don't even have him say anything. Just hit the call to personality music.
Mm-hmm.
And which I'll definitely still have, considering Living Color is now following AEW.
Yep, that was another int.
But you're either just doing the greatest trolling job of all time, or this is legit happening. I'm honestly kind of proud either way they would do this at this point because it's damn good. But yeah, have him come out. Either have him do a run in on somebody, have him hit a quick GTS. Do best in the world. That's it. Whatever. But do not have him grab a mic. You save that for the next episode of AEW because the viewers will be through the freaking roof.
Yeah, save that for that Wednesday.
Just throw it all on social media like CM Punk, first thing. AEW on Wednesdays.
I mean, I'll definitely be watching. Oh, yeah, I'll be watching.
Hell yeah. Everybody's going to be watching.
Everyone's going to be watching because everyone... And that also, too, with CM Punk, I know I talked about this last time with, like, Cena and not just wrestling fans, but, like, everyone was talking about when Cena came back to Money in the Bank. It's going to be the same thing for CM Punk. Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, like, ESPN, Fox. Like, it's going to be wild because they're going to be, like, his first time in 2014? 7 years. Punk is back in a wrestling ring, like, legit, ready to put someone to sleep or the Anaconda Vice or whatever he's doing. Because, God, I was happy that MMA phase ended with him. No, man, that week's going to be wild. I know that Friday with AEW Rampage, then SummerSlam, then Sunday NXT TakeOver, then Raw, then NXT, then AEW, with hopefully we're saying CM Punk opens that show. Like, it's going to be... This is what we do for y'all, man. This is the type of weeks we live for because then we get to dive in and preview and review it for you guys.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be interesting. For sure.
Can't wait to see who pissed us all off.
Daniel Bryan debut. Do you have him debut the same weekend?
I don't know. I think you got to keep it Chicago for Punk. You got to. But then.
Or do you have him show up on Wednesday, the following Wednesday?
Do you make that Punk's first? No, because they both can't lose their first feud.
Hell no.
So you can't make them their first feud against each other, but and you can't do Halloween because now we're anticipating a AEW thing for Bray. Man. I would say, when's Arbor Day? Is that September? If AEW could have something like that to bring back the Planet Champion.
I
just can't wait to see his attitude when he goes. Because I did not expect Daniel Bryan to be going over there. I thought he was done because he wanted to be with his family.
Well, he's going to get paid the same amount for less shows, So, but if that happens, I don't see Daniel Bryan talking shit. I'll see him cutting like pipe bombs or promos on WWE. I don't see it.
I don't see it either because they still do like stuff with his wife. So
yeah, Total Bellas is still a thing. So, my God, are we going to see an AEW wrestler on a WWE programming?
That would be wild. I mean, any next documentary that Charlotte does, we will, because with Andrade will definitely be in it.
Yeah.
Now we're having the joke which I do like when Triple H started this many years ago, when he sends like title belts to like sports champions. Now the joke is people want the Jacksonville Jaguars to win a Super Bowl one day, so Triple H has to send a WWE belt to the God family. That is the new joke out. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm in. Let's get the Jaguars a championship.
Let's get it.
Because I could not imagine that tweet of Triple H saying, "Congrats to the Cons."
Oh, the Cons are going to tweet back to him, be like, "Thank you, Triple H. Yeah, this is for my Con family, my AEW family, and my Jacksonville Jaguar family." Oh, this should be great.
And they would have someone wear that belt on AEW Wednesday. Oh my god!
Absolutely, 100%.
God, man. Jacob, anything else, man, before we sign off here on our Bray Wyatt? It was definitely dedicated to Bray Wyatt and the craziness of him being released out of the blue.
All right, yeah, let's talk about the drama that unfolded after AEW on Wednesday
with the pizza.
Yeah, let's talk about Pizzagate.
Pizzagate. Go ahead, man. Pulling up my notes for Pizzagate.
So, on AEW, you had the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, facing Nick Gage. Now, for those who do not know, up until recently, Nick Gage was king of the death match before Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, took that away from him, which is also great. But they're having a match because Jericho has to beat 5 matches that MJF is putting out. So if he wins all these 5 pillars of pain or whatever it is, Jericho gets to face MJF. And they get to keep going with this feud, which is a phenomenal feud. So anyways, they're facing each other. And Nick Gage is one of his signature things. He pulls out a pizza cutter and he cuts Chris Jericho. Then they go to commercial break. In the first commercial, Domino's $5.99 pizza deals. Which I didn't think anything of it. I was away from work, but I was watching it in my hotel. And I'm like, well, you don't think about anything. Like, Domino's commercials as common as, I don't know what
phone commercial, AT&T, like the
it's a super common commercial. You don't think anything of it. Well, after Domino's gets pissed and did not, they're like, for some reason they think it was just a terrible thing that someone got caught with a pizza cutter, and the next thing you see is a Domino's commercial. I mean, they're the only people who connected these dots that were really not much there to connect. But they're pissed talking about like pulling their sponsorship ads and all that stuff. No more commercials. Who the hell cares? I mean, to me, this isn't a big deal. What do you think, Martin?
I think it's hilarious because, man, the timing could not be worse when anytime like you would have the pizza cutter and then like how TV shows now are having like that side by side, like when they're on commercial break and the commercial's going. So like he would have the pizza cutter and then there'd be a Domino's commercial at the same time. And like anytime they came back from break, there'd be another one. Like I thought that was hilarious, but obviously they did not. And they were just like, yeah, we're going to pull our ads off AEW. And like if they were like their biggest partner, which I don't know, I don't think it is, because if they were, this would definitely be a bigger mainstream story than us just talking about it. But I think it is what it is. I think they'll come to rich people typically come to agreements like, hey, let us know when you're doing this pizza cutter stuff so our ads aren't literally right after, because we don't want someone to see your pizza cutter with blood and then our commercial where we're literally using a pizza cutter and they're thinking about the blood. I think it's just billionaires just being billionaires.
Now, I know Tony Khan talked to the heads of TNT and told them, like, hey, this is the match that we're going to do, because he wanted to clear it with them, that way there was no like, oh, hey, you can't do this type of stuff. But he told them, like, hey, there's going to be blood, there's going to be light tubes, there's going to be, all this stuff. He basically laid out the entire match for them. They're like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And then afterwards, Domino's getting all upset about it, which is hilarious, because do you think Domino's is going to want to post commercials on, I don't know, the Dynamite when CM Punk returns?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's going to be prime time, like commercial ads right there. So, and say what you want, but you're going to get more. I mean, AEW is consistently pulling over 1 million viewers now every Wednesday. So you're definitely going to get way more. I bet Punk brings in at least, I bet they do 1.5 million viewers at least when Punk returns and Punk talks for the first time. Oh yeah, definitely.
The only thing else I had left was shout out to Kurt Angle, 25-year anniversary of him winning a gold medal at the Olympics with a broken freaking neck. So definitely got to shout out the Olympic gold medal hero for us, Kurt Angle. Would love to see a wrestler go back to the Olympics and take the gold of someone who's actually in professional wrestling.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who it would be, but
Bobby Hill 2.0, or as I like to call him, Otis.
I was going to say Chad Gable.
I think, wasn't he in the Olympics?
I think he got like a bronze.
Yeah. Him, Jeff Cobb. Cobb was in the Olympics. But I think they're too old for that. Are they too old for that now? I'm not sure.
I think they're way. I think they'd be too old. So it's like have to be some young person. If there was women, I'm sending Charlotte. I don't care. Like I don't care if the other people are shooting or not. She's gonna win. She'll find a way.
Vince is gonna make sure she wins.
Yeah. They're like, you can't do this. This is WWE. This is the Olympics. I don't care. Charlotte oversees the Olympics. Make it happen. God. Well, I mean,
I think that's it for the emergency podcast.
Yeah, definitely, man. But thank you, everyone, for listening to the L7C podcast. Thank you, Jacob, for being able to hop on so quickly. We got the news about Bray yesterday. Hopped on literally the next day. Probably the next time you guys do hear from us is when we're doing our previews of SummerSlam and AEW Rampage and NXT TakeOver. We're going to have to talk to Byron and others because we've heard some people want to hop on with us about if we're going to do one gigantic episode or we're going to be like splitting these up through days, because like you guys know, WrestleMania time, this time we get super busy because we got to preview everything. But with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to L7C podcast. You guys take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.